After Nancy's and my email exchange, and after Caroline and I posted our incident and connections reports to the forums, OCMB, ESMB, and Why We Protest, I continued to look into incidents and connections, of course, and also material relating to CAST's finances to the degree I can, and CAST's relationship with the Justice Department that set up the mechanism by which these organizations are funded or given grants of different kinds to help victims of human trafficking. Early on, I found CAST's 990s, which are the forms that tax-exempt organizations file with the IRS containing their returns, their finances for the year. And that year that I have in front of me anyway, July 1, 2007, ending June 30, 2008, CAST reported gross receipts of $1,150,629, and their 3 salaried employees got $62,400, $58,000, $53,000, and had contributions to employee benefit plans and deferred compensation of $3,012, $8,640, $2,730. Ms. Buck, the executive director, received $94,248 and employee benefit plan contribution of $5,602. There's a category on CAST's 990 entitled Specific Assistance to Individuals, and it lists training, 2,207, basic necessities, 7,185, interpretation, 9,904, and that has to be fees that are charged by professional interpreters. Transportation, 3,930, food, shelter, and clothing for indigents, etc., 4,686, and medical, dental, and hospital expenses provided 387, for a total of 28,389, which is, I guess, a little bit above 2.5% of the gross income or gross receipts for that year. And to those who are saying CAST is unique, that's simply not true. I'm sure that it has some uniquenesses, but it's not unique in the category in which it fits in relation to the government and funding and the Justice Department. It became apparent to me that there were very limited funds to go around, and while at the same time I was seeing and hearing numbers like thousands of people's lives saved, there being literally tens of thousands of people human trafficked into the U.S. every year, that Los Angeles is a center in which human trafficking is rampant, and I was seeing terrible situations being reported. The definition which the OIG uses is human trafficking is a form of modern-day slavery in which traffickers lure victims, predominantly women and children, with false promises of good jobs and better lives, and then force the victims to work under brutal and inhumane conditions. So the picture which is constantly painted of victims of human trafficking is one of extreme need. And it appeared that there was very little money to go around or being distributed. And I began to think, of course, of my own circumstance, and there was the fact that my real need in this situation, which involves Scientology, the Sea Org, the David Miscavige cult, as a human trafficker, but my specific need is majorly legal against them. It involves, in fact, human trafficking contracts It is a slavery contract. So I have intimate and significant needs which could be taken care of, but they can't be taken care of by this program. It simply would be wrong for me or someone in my circumstance to approach this organization to receive some of these benefits. I don't know how much dental work you can get done for $387 these days. And if it's dental work that's needed, there probably are dentists who do little sections of society for free as it is. So anyway, it just struck me that I was definitely the wrong person, and I recalled that Nancy had written in her book, My Billion-Year Contract, which is copyright 2009, something about a Tudor house and circumstances which were far from destitution, or the circumstances, the homelessness that somebody who escapes from human trafficking from a pimp faces. Nancy writes the final words in her book, Myself. I continue to heal and am very happy with my life and family. We live in a large Tudor house behind a black wrought iron gate with a basketball hoop in the front yard. I finished my bachelor's degree that was interrupted by Scientology. I am pursuing a career in writing, and obviously her writing has been successful because she's a published writer. So the picture that I got of that was so very wrong for Nancy's needs to be approved by CAST and money from CAST be used for whatever needs she could have at this time. I have significant needs, but it would just be wrong to consume those needs from those people who really are victims of what society understands is human trafficking. In fact, I began to consider that, wouldn't Scientology just love to put their spin on that? If that was the result, if there were these tens of thousands of victims of human trafficking that were being handled and provided with some kind of service, and I could see that there was so very little to go around. What an opportunity for Scientology. It's such a wrong situation. And they would do that even though they are the perpetrators of the wrong. And even that is wrong because the money to do this is coming out of the government, from society. And it's wrong that Scientology, that's right there in that part of the world, would be able to escape completely from any responsibility, and in the so doing would be able to do that, get away with this, and have their victims taken care of, to the detriment of these really seriously victimized people. And I didn't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be a part of that. I think it's completely wrong, and whatever CAST was doing to forward this idea, there's something wrong there too. I found another article. This was one written by Dan Blumel, entitled When Scientology Fails, and it was published in January this year. Blumel has written a couple of pieces on Scientology that I found excellent, and I hope sometime to be able to talk to him. In any case, in his article, he starts with, Nancy Maney sits comfortably curled up on her couch. A cool wind blows outside her Los Angeles home, hitting the windows and splashing against the dead leaves in her yard. Her 2 Siberian huskies lie on the floor, drifting in and out of sleep. The lights inside the house are yellow and dim, giving an aura of firelight. A tranquil warmth fills the living room. The serenity that Mamie now enjoys is a testament to her victory, something hard fought and won, for her life used to be chaotic and uncertain. The victims of human trafficking that caste was mandated to handle and that the Justice Department thinks they are handling, and the law enforcement task forces which refer victims of human trafficking to caste, those people's lives are chaotic and uncertain. And that's what caste is supposed to be doing, making their lives not chaotic and providing some certainty. Nancy doesn't need those things, and the amount of chaos and the amount of uncertainty that caste can handle in the real lives of real human trafficking victims is apparently extremely limited, and this situation is just not right. This is not where the victims of Scientology, victims of the Sea Org, belong. During this time I began to relate the Free Zone or Scientology independence or Marty's people to the situation which I was uncovering about caste, and specifically to the helping of victims of the Sea Organization, which of course remains under the control of David Miscavige. It became clear to me that Marty and his group, and virtually everyone associated with that, is welcoming people who have left the Sea Organization, welcoming people who have been victimized by the Sea Organization, and specifically who'd been subjected to those conditions which constitute human trafficking. And it was obvious to me that among those people in the Free Zone, among the independents, in Marty's people, are all kinds of OTs. There are people who claim that they're at cause, who claim success from Scientology. Obviously, they have a pile of money between them. On average, they must be far above what WOGs possess or their assets would be. They all, claiming to be successful or success from Scientology, must have at a minimum well-paying jobs. Some are actors, there are producers among them, science people, business people, all kinds of writers, professional people in the entertainment industry. So among them, and they also offer to anyone coming out a network of psychological support and of a commonality of language, of understanding. Everyone out there seems to agree that what's going on is human trafficking. And there's a network out there, and surely those people could put together something that would be far more effective than getting what is obviously very meager, paltry amounts that are somehow put together or allocated for serving victims of human trafficking. And then it got even worse for me than that, because it isn't only the Free Zone and the independents and Marty's guys who should be responsible for these victims who are going to get that bit of money, but all the current Scientologists. Tom Cruise, he is responsible. These are the people who provided him with these amazing powers and abilities that he got from Scientology. These are the slaves behind the scene. So he and all of those people, and among them, are billionaires. And these people are letting this organization, which handles victims of a different form of human trafficking, even these people aren't coming forward with their billions Instead, a few thousand is being doled out to these people. This is ridiculous. It's criminal.